regular dudes.
What stuff?
Get your popcorn ready.
Welcome to Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. I'm your host, Jamie G. Esquire the Fifth, Master of Sandworms. And I'm here with Magnum Mills and the Soup Deucer to talk about what we've recently watched and discuss the Tim Burton classic, Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I mean, I Got a Worm Man doesn't work quite as well as I Got a Snake Man, but either way, thank you for tuning in to Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find us wherever you get your pods. Just search for Regular Dudes Watch Stuff on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff. Search for us on YouTube, or if you're just listening, you could just go to our YouTube channel by going to joeblowfootballshow.com. Thank you for checking us out. If you could, please do the like, comment, rate, follow, subscribe thing. You don't got to do them all. Just do one. Takes you less than 10 seconds. Helps other people find the show. We greatly appreciate it. Please and thank you.
What's up, everybody? I am the Soup Man, and I am here on Regular Dudes Watch Stuff about to discuss Beetlejuice, and I myself am strange and unusual, drinking PBR. Let's do it.
So, say it once, say it twice, third time's a charm, and remember, I'll eat anything you want me to eat, I'll swallow anything you want me to swallow. So come on down now, chew on the dog.
Before we head up to Connecticut and beyond, let's discuss what else we filled our eye holes with since the last time we've talked. Mills, anything new recently that you've watched that you'd like to discuss or recommend?
Just super quick. Last of Us finale, very good. You should be watching that. Stuck true to the game. I don't think there's a lot of spoilers there. Wu-Tang and American Saga about to finish up on Hulu, also good. Party Down revivals. Last one I watched was their 4th episode. It was awesome. My favorite so far. Definitely top tier Party Down episode from me. Mandalorian season 3, last one I watched was okay, just okay. Like they could pay it off later. I'll maybe move the grade up. Other stuff, Cocaine Bear, good, but not quite what I hoped. I was hoping for like a cult classic. It was fine. It was entertaining, but I don't know how rewatchable it is. Finished up Poker Face. I really enjoyed it. I had one of the best guest casts I've seen across the various episodes. I like the whole feel of it. And watch the Lucky Hank pilot. That's Bob Odenkirk's new show over on AMC. It's interesting. It looks like a slow burn character study, so you're not going to get the highs of, Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, or the laughs of Mr. Show. But if you enjoy Bob Odenkirk and kind of that, it's a midlife crisis kind of show, at least from what I can tell so far, I think you'll enjoy it. It might be one of those things where I don't know how you really talk about it, especially it deals like, midlife crisis. It's not a lot of fun to discuss, but Odenkirk was great in the first episode, and it seemed like if you ever caught it, like a darker version of AP Bio that was Glenn Howerton's show about like a teacher here. Odenkirk's a college professor, so that's kind of the correlation there. Enjoyed all that. Jamie G, anything for yourself? You just finished in Rome. What are you doing?
Finished Rome, and I got to tell you, man, I can't believe Rome didn't get more street cred on HBO. It was fantastic. The acting was incredible. You kind of go into it, you're like, okay, this is going to be about Julius Caesar. It's really, it is, but it isn't. It's all the other side characters, man, and they stayed true to with the historical reference. I'm a sucker for a period piece. This has everything that you want on HBO: murder, deceit, sex, lots of banging. It's your typical HBO kind of heater. And dude, can't believe more people aren't talking about it. I know it's a little bit old. I'm probably late to the game. Maybe it was popular back then, but I just think it kind of got buried under some other mammoth shows, and it was definitely worth the rewatch.
Rock and roll, man. Well, over the past week, I was able to fill my eye holes with a little bit of TV here and there. Lounging out late night and whatnot. Dude, Mills, I'm with you on the Party Down. Fucking sick new shit. Loving it. I also ran across a random movie that I thought was pretty good. That was something I probably wouldn't pick to watch, but I flipped it, and it came on, and it was a movie called Long Shot. Kind of older, a couple years older. It's got Seth Rogen, Charlize Theron, man. It's actually really fucking good, man. I'm not a big rom-com kind of guy, but this was on a level like a Zack and Mary kind of level, and yeah, it's Seth Rogen, but it was dirty, it was rated R, it was funny as fuck. Real fucking solid fucking movie, man. Good comedy, fucking you know, all around good points and shit throughout the movie. Good one to check out. So I was impressed with that. It kept me up. It kept me up to the end of it, and it was one of those nights where I thought I'd fall asleep in the middle, and I was like, oh yeah, man. Stayed up through the whole thing, and it was a good one. I was glad to have stayed up through the entire thing. So yeah, that was my week. If you get a chance to check it out, I'm not pitching that, but if you get a chance to check it out, maybe I'll pitch it later. Maybe
Yeah,
some
you
other
know,
stuff.
we know you are a little bit subject to laying down. Right before you move on, Jamie G, real quick, have you watched the season finale of The Last of Us yet?
Yeah, it was incredible. Really, really, really good. I thought the entire season was just done so well, but yeah, season finale really good,
Nice.
really good. That brings us to our featured review for the episode. Last time, Magnum Mills pitched Beetlejuice, 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 and Soup and I decided that we'd like to check that one out as well. Mills, why did you pitch this one?
A little bit of the fact that there's some heat on the sequel now, but for the most part, it was on like a streaming service, and that, you know, the algorithm's doing its thing, and like maybe you haven't watched this in a while and you would like this. And I was like, you know, I haven't watched Beetlejuice, like really watch it in a minute. It just really held up really well, because I don't know if it technically held up that well for 89 or whatever when it was released. Like it was, you know, the very specific Tim Burton kind of look, and I just loved it. I thought that the Danny Elfman score was great. I remember kind of like liking the cartoon when I was a kid, and especially with like Michael Keaton kind of being a little hot right now, then maybe making a sequel. I was like, man, dude, I could do some Beetlejuice.
It was your pick, man. So why don't you go ahead and give us some of the details and background for Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
All right, as far as the Dietz family goes, this is Beetlejuice, directed by Tim Burton, with a story by Michael McDowell and Larry Wilson, screenplay by Michael McDowell and Warren Scarron, produced by Michael Bender, Larry Wilson, and Richard Hashimoto. Cinematographer was Thomas E. Ackerman, edited by Jane Curson, music by Danny Elfman, released March 30th, 1988, with a budget of $15 million, made $74.7 million at the United States box office, with a running time of 92 minutes, starring Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Jeffrey Jones, Catherine O'Hara, Winona Ryder, Michael Keaton. And the short plot synopsis for Beetlejuice is: the spirits of a deceased couple are harassed by an unbearable family that has moved into their home, and they hire a malicious spirit to drive them out.
Too vague.
Yes, they do. And this is going to be a full-on spoiler discussion of Beetlejuice. So if somehow you're one random person that's never watched Beetlejuice, please know that anything and everything related to Beetlejuice could and likely will come up in our discussion. This is your first and final warning. Let's start out by discussing our history with Beetlejuice. Is this a film that's a personal favorite? Do you have some nostalgic, feel to this? I mean, have you seen it in a while? Soup, where are you at on the Beetlejuice deets before we rewatched it?
I mean, it's been a hot minute since I've seen it. I'm very familiar with the film. I've watched it lots of times. Shit, since back when I was a young little guy and everything else, man. You know, it's always been one of my favorite, that style of movie. And I love Tim Burton, you know, everything or whatever. And Beetlejuice is one of those ones that's been around for a long time, man. And there's a lot of moments and things in that movie that are, kind of stick with you on, I don't want to say it day to day, but every once in a while you'll think about something from there and it'll pop in, man, references and whatnot. So yeah, it's a good one. It's impactful, and it was a nice rewatch, man. So I'm glad it came up.
I love Beetlejuice. I mean, it was a favorite of mine kind of as a kid growing up. It was fun. You know, Michael Keaton is on fire. I mean, dude, this is way up there for Michael Keaton. Like he's the man in this, dude. Got so much energy. He's hilarious, dude. There's a lot of little hidden stuff that you don't even realize. It was fun to rewatch that. And it's kind of a quick watch too. It kind of works its way throughout. Alec Baldwin, he's done better, but he kind of played the role perfectly for what it was. I like this one, man. I thought it was really good, and nice to go down memory lane. I also hope to watch Beetlejuice on Broadway this summer. I'll be in New York, so checking out the Fish Run at MSG. I hope to sneak in Beetlejuice on Broadway while I'm there.
Love the Beetlejuice on Broadway. Again, I brought it up, so pretty obvious. I just caught it. Again, had a positive history with it. All the stuff. So I'll keep it simple.
You know what's really beautiful about this? You two kids picked me. You didn't have to, but you picked me. It makes me want to kiss you guys. Come on, come on. Give me one.
It's an absolute stack cast. I mean, let's start off by talking about the Maitlands, right? I mean, you got Alec Baldwin as Adam, you got Gina Davis as Barbara. They play it pretty straight, and the Maitlands seem like, honest to God, kind of hokey dokey people. We get a brief introduction, and they're basically dead before the opening credits finish. So not a lot of them being alive. Which kicks off kind of the events of the film. Thoughts on Adam and Barbara and how the film killed them off right away to kind of get the plot going?
I don't really think they need too much of a backstory because they kind of, I mean, like you said, those characters are pretty simple characters. So it was like, you don't really need all this previous history with these guys and shit. You pretty much get it in the first like couple of minutes, and that's all you need. And then like the story is from here on out, and that's kind of like the focus.
Yeah, you get the one look in town. I don't think we actually see the town again, but you go and then you realize like, oh, it's the hardware store they own. But man, they're driving an old car. Like you see the fireman washing a fire truck. It's an old joint, and like the barber dude's outside spinning the tail. He's talked to him he's talked to Adam so many times before. And I like the foreshadow. Like you see the dog when they go down, and then it's the dog that they swerve, to avoid, and everything on the back end. And I do have to say, like at this time, this is when Alec Baldwin was like one of the up for like sexiest man in the world or whatever. And it's just like the opposite of like in the high school movies where you'd like put the hot chick with like glasses and make her pull her hair up, and then she puts them down. Alec Baldwin was kind of the male version of that here with the flannel shirt and the glasses, but you can't help but see like the chest hair coming out. I think the costuming was great, and it just gets us like right into the Beetlejuice universe, pretty quickly, and makes us accept like, oh, they're dead, this happened, whatever. I think very, very good job, all of that.
Oh, and it doesn't take us long to get a feel for the afterlife, or whatever you may want to call it. We find out that they can't leave their house, and most people can't see them. Time works differently for them, etc., etc. And oh yeah, there's sandworms. Yes, giant scary worms that are like, I don't know if it was like Tremors like meets sandworms. I don't know, something's there, but it was very cool. What do you think about world building and the establishment of the rules here with the rules for the recently deceased?
You got to read the fucking book, man. They tell them that the whole fucking movie. They never read the fucking book, man. But again, the sandworms, man. I think they're from Saturn. So you been to Saturn? You've been to Saturn, man. You get the sandworms up there. However, I'm not sure how it works in that world, but that's what I gather, man.
I like the idea that they give you a handbook for the like being dead, but it's basically unreadable. It's like the worst like
this thing reads like stereo instructions, man.
And they get that even at the end when they do the book about like the living with the dead or whatever, like in the final scene.
This thing reads like stereo instructions.
Again, I think it was a really well written flick. In the world building, I think is amazing as far as like establishing like the underground for the dead. Like they don't have to do a lot of work. And even like Otho brings it up, like, oh, don't you know that like the people who try to commit suicide are forced to work as public servants in the afterlife? And you see that in just all the different ways that people are dead, and then the way they go outside with the sandworms and everything. I mean, it was very Tremorsian. I don't even know like how you refer to something as being being from Tremors, but yeah, very Tremorsian. And when they get back there, man, and there's just the Dietz family, and you have to admit, man, you got Jeffrey Jones, he's Charles, Catherine O'Hara as Delia, and then Winona Ryder as Lydia. Like they walk in and you just kind of know like who they are, right? Like you have the put upon husband, you have the crazy wife, and the weird daughter. So thoughts on the Dietzes?
First of all, I'm a big fan of Odo. Like he's Otho's the guy, dude. Like he's hilarious to me. I will say just one quick comment on kind of the rules for the dead. I thought that was one of the more interesting things to kind of keep the intrigue is this handbook and you know, when they finally draw the door on the wall, and like just kind of the figuring out of kind of the Robert's rules of order of being deceased. But regarding the deets, yeah, it's your typical, you know, ridiculous family from Manhattan that's moved down, and you know, it couldn't be more of a stark contrast from then, you know, the you know, the Maitlands, right? It's two completely opposites polar spectrum here.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, covered that.
There's still a major character we haven't gotten to. He's mysterious. He's got a great sense of fashion, and he's not afraid to dabble in the supernatural. And I mentioned this earlier. My guy, Otho, played by Glenn Shaddix. Seriously. Also, shout out to Sylvia Sidney, who played Juno, the Maitland's caseworker with the gaping hole where the smoke kind of came out of. Any thoughts on the supporting characters before we say the big guy's name 3 times?
I mean, you mentioned Otho, dude. Otho is super cool. I remember when I was a kid watching or whatever that I loved him because he kind of seemed to know everything. Although I really question his, you know, interior design credentials. I mean, that house is like the counter, like the walls look like Formica. They look like shitty counters or whatever. But I think everyone is pretty great. Like the bullshit kind of like businessmen that they bring over and their trophy wives and everything like that. Delilah's like pissed off agent, like, and I love just how bad she is at sculpture, and like it's obvious that everyone's just putting up with her all the times, and then you know that they keep bringing the sculptures back into it as far as like when they move in and then coming alive later. I think that's all great. So you know you could call her sculptures the supporting character.
Which one was your favorite of the 3? The one that she gets pinned by, or the one that like
the 6-arm joint? Like, is it when it gets her outside early because it like goes into the kitchen where Jeffrey Jones is, and then it like traps her, and she's like, I knew my art would kill me or whatever. And it's just really cool because I think this is right around the time that Catherine O'Hara was also the mother in Home Alone. So it's a super interesting contrast because she is like America's mother in that, and here she's basically Karen, right? Like you feel like they almost invented the Karen here when she gives the line early in the movie when they're moving in, and she tells the dude, what is it? She's like,
see, if you tell me what you do, I'll tell you why my husband will fire you.
Dude, that is like the most Karen ass shit ever. Like I feel like they invented both Karen and the staycation. When they like when Adam and like the Maitlands are staying home, like they're just like, oh, aren't we glad we're spending our vacation at home? Dude, this movie invented both the staycation and Karen's. I'm just saying.
That's interesting, man. That's a good point.
Good point, man. Good point. Guys, we finally got to him. We got Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. Despite being the main character, he doesn't appear until almost 25 minutes into the movie, and he's in less than 20% of the overall film. But it just doesn't matter. Michael Keaton is absolutely incredible. Impossible to picture anybody else in this role. Just general thoughts on Beetlejuice as a character, and just how absolutely on fire Michael Keaton's performance is.
Dude, he plays him like Daffy Duck on meth. It's wild the way, like when he does the commercial, it's like a, you know, a Southern, like it's a Southern stereotype, like crossed with a used car salesman, crossed with like a scheming dead guy kind. It's so grimy, all the green shit all over all the time, the look, everything about Beetlejuice works for me. The whole movie, like, you know, it's one of those things, you build it up to it. He's the fireworks factory. So when you get there, it's got to be cool, right? And when you get to Beetlejuice, he's fucking cool.
It's very cool.
You know, but if it hadn't been, it could have gone bad and that would have ruined the movie. It's why it works, is even though he's not in it a ton, when you get to him, you just love Beetlejuice. And again, they leave you wanting more.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much more I can say about that. You're absolutely right. You pretty much nailed that one, man. I mean, totally agree.
That's good soup.
Yeah, he crushes, dude. I mean, he's got so much energy, so much animation. He's hilarious. The voices, everything he does, it's just
this is body language, like when he's interacting with Barbara with Gina Lee Davis. Oh, he keeps trying to like grab her ass and everything. It's just so like primal, and you get the idea like they don't really refer to it, but Juno says like that he was her assistant, which means he committed suicide. You can't see it actively anywhere on him. but there is like definitely like backstory to Beetlejuice too, which is cool because it makes you want more as a viewer because you're like, oh yeah, like there's way like I'd love to like how did Beetlejuice become Beetlejuice?
Yeah. And what happens to him with does he ever get the non-shrunken head, right? And according to, this is an interesting thing here that we should just know, according to IMDb, about 90% of Michael Keaton's lines were ad-libbed. That's wild, dude. So basically he just went in there, he just improv'd, and he just became Beetlejuice, which is very cool.
That's what it struck me as when he's doing that commercial and everything. Like that's like it's like Daffy Duck. Like I remember even like Kevin Smith famously telling Jason Mewes when he couldn't do something like do it like Daffy Duck. Like it's like Looney Tunes the way he acts. And that's I think why I like the cartoon, because there was a level of connection you can make between his performance and the cartoon because it was cartoony, but deliberately so in a good way.
Yeah. Well, and Tim Burton's work always has that distinctive Tim Burton look to it, right? But Beetlejuice still manages to stand out. What did everybody think of the look of this movie? The costumes, the models, the color palette, the afterlife, the faces, the the snake worms, all the stuff. I mean, this was totally Tim Burton, right?
I just one part I absolutely loved was when Beetlejuice is trying to befriend them, and then he puts on the same like flannel with the red undershirt that Alec Baldwin is wearing, and like, oh, we're good guys. And as he's trying to grab, Gene Lee Davis's Barbara's ass or whatever. But just the look of it, even the sandworm stuff, it's obviously modeled, but it's like clear blue sky, very bright. And then, when they own their house, it's kind of neutral. And then when the Dietzes take it over, it's all blacks and everything. Like there's a ton to the set design and the costumes in this flick. So, I think it's an incredibly interesting flick to look at, even if you can turn the volume off and watch Beetlejuice. That's a sign of an interesting movie.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Tim Burton, dude. Anything he does is super fucking vision. Your visuals are going to be through the roof, man, and everything about this entire movie from front to back, whether it's even the beginning scenes where it's not even any fucking darkness or nothing yet, man, even those are still kind of tripped out in a Tim Burton way, man. The little bridge and shit, the little weird town that they live in, like everything is just kind of like, I don't know, it's just got this Tim Burton-esque to it, and then it leads up to the full-blown fucking like afterlife, this shit, sandworms and shit, but fucking
yeah. And I
Tim
guess
Burton.
while you're bringing that up, anything else on the afterlife? We had all the different dead people. Was there any one of those that kind of stuck out at you? You had the dude who like obviously fell asleep when he was smoking. The magician's assistant that got sawed in half. The dude who choked on a chicken bone was my favorite. Like you see the chicken bone in his neck. Any of the flat dude who gets like put between the shit.
Black guy was my favorite because he told the joke. He's like
he embraced it. Like he's been there for a while, so
yeah, that was cool.
I would have liked to have seen more of that actually.
Their shrunken head dude, obviously, because he's the only one I think that comes back around. Those are all
yeah, maybe not in the one scene, but maybe spread throughout or something.
I'd love it. I'd watch that movie. I would watch a movie just about like an office style like sitcom set in that underworld waiting room or whatever.
Oh yeah,
I think cool. Would be just fucking phenomenal. And then when you're on there, Juno tells him like you got to like do better or whatever. So they try various times throughout the movie to like scare the Dietzes. Is there any of those that really stood out at you? Like, did they really think that like making them do like a choreographed scene would like make them scared?
Well, if you lost control of your body and did that, it would freak you out, but it would almost be like after you get off a roller coaster, like, oh wow, I got to do that again.
I'd assume I was drunk.
Yeah.
Oh, what is going on?
That's a regular Tuesday night for you, dude.
If you've never done a Ouija board, dude, you just have to go with it.
No, I think they definitely could have done more with it. I think doing the fucking trying to scare him with the faces and the weird shit,
the eyeballs on the fingers. Actually, I like the early ones when they
done better with that. You could have gone way scarier with that. But
yeah, I like the simple shit, like the early one where like they open the closet, she's hanging there, and they're like, "Oh my god, there's so little closet space." Like I like the gag parts of it, I think, better than the scary parts. Because and even when they showed Beetlejuice being like the super scary, they shoot it from the back, so you can't see why he was like that scary. But he like his shit was definitely way scarier, I'd say.
I still one day. That's what they need to do. They need to release what that actually looks like one day. Like, this is what.
I mean, basically, that's like the end of the movie, right? Like when Lydia finally says, "All right, I'll marry you." She does the Beetlejuice 3 times, and he comes up. Like for me, I remember as a kid loving that. Like he does like the at the carnival when you the strongman joint, you bang the hammer with like the 2 people and they go up through the shit and he like turns into a snake and they're getting old. I remember that was part that scared me when I was a kid. When they get called into like their wedding clothes and they start getting old and their jaws start falling off, like that weirded me out. Any thoughts on the finale?
Well done. I mean, it had that sense of fucking tension and whatnot. Like, will this work out? What's going to happen and everything else? And I mean, it was a bit of suspense, man. It was definitely fucking definitely something intriguing for audiences, man, to kind of stay with it at that point. You're not gonna lose anybody. Anybody who's been with you for the whole film, all of a sudden now it's like they're gonna be there and they're gonna be more involved actually trying to figure out what the fuck is going on after this. But could it have been more gruesome and shit? Yeah, the whole thing could have been, but that's not what they were going for.
I like the Beetlejuice being able to have kind of not these superpowers, but just like as everyone's trying to stop him at the end, he's just doing things with his hands and making stuff happen, right? Like putting the cement thing over the lock over the zipper, and then the lock thing, and just stuff like that. Like I thought that was pretty cool to see him kind of.
I remember that when everyone kept trying to say Beetlejuice. Like there were some really good gags in there. Like one of my favorites was like the way he fucked up Otho. Was he made him just wear like a blue suit, and that weirded Otho out more like everyone else he's trying to kill, and Otho he just made him wear like a suit that he didn't like of the color, and he just weird the fuck out. He could not take it at that point.
I think that just about does it for Beetlejuice, but I have one final question. After the movie was a success, Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder signed on for a sequel that was called Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian. I mean, how upset are we that we never got this movie? It's an absolute travesty.
The whole thing is the title. Like it's to mention Beetlejuice in Hawaii, like in a beach, like
now I think it's a Weekend at Bernie's kind of fucking weirdo shit.
I'm going the other way. I'm thinking Beetlejuice meets White Lotus. Which feels like you had that, like I feel like that's where it's at, dude. Beetlejuice meets White Lotus. That's what I'm pitching.
I'm okay with that though. I'm okay with it.
I guess no matter what it was, if it was another Beetlejuice, I would check it out. So hopefully this Beetlejuice.
It's funny, but if they remade it, the dude they could like the easiest character they could lose is Alec Baldwin, right? Like they could probably lose.
Well, I don't want to see a remake, man. I want to see a sequel. Yeah.
I kind of just want to see him cast like a lesser Baldwin
or a spin-off, a before, or like let me get Beetlejuice's story, how he became Beetlejuice, or let me get it after that, or something like that, a sequel or a later fucking whatever the fuck or something like, not a remake. I don't like a remake, really.
I don't like a remake, but let's be honest here. We all seem to like the flick, so I'd say we all think that it is sponge-worthy, so to speak. Right?
Oh yeah, sponge-worthy for sure.
So let's just be a little more specific. Like we all know what happens if you say Beetlejuice 3 times. So let's say maybe you could say Beetlejuice 1 time, you could say it 3 times, you could say it 5 times. So anywhere between 1 and 5 times. How many times are you saying Beetlejuice? If 1 makes it, not that great, and 5 makes it a stone cold classic. Jamie G, 1 to 5 times. How many are you saying Beetlejuice about the film Beetlejuice?
Man, part of me, I'm gonna go 3.5. It's a great movie. I absolutely love it. It's borderline 4 Beetlejuices, but I'm gonna keep it at 3.5.
3.5 Betelgeises, split in half. You know what? I'll go 4.5. I really think that this is, given the time and everything, it's a great flick. It holds up well. I mean, it's a really weird choice. Like, we didn't even talk about, like, are the Maitland secret parrot heads? Like, they love all this island music or whatever. It's just so interesting. And I think it holds up well, both visually, from a sound standpoint. The performances are interesting. The story's good. I think it's a pretty fucking great flick, man. So, Beetlejuice, 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 Beetle.
Wow, well, shit, man. Dude, I gotta tell you, man, I'm right there with you, and I was almost gonna give this the full 5. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. out of 5 Beetlejuices because I mean, dude, this is a movie you can throw on whenever the fuck. You can't find something to watch, throw on fucking Beetlejuice, it'll be all right. You know what I mean? If it comes to that. But in any other fucking situation, if you want to just watch Beetlejuice, dude, or if it just randomly comes on, it's a good fucking movie, man. And it fucking holds up to the time and shit. You know it's older and shit, you know that going into it, so you don't need it, but it doesn't need any of that technology and shit to it. Like it's good where it's at. And I think it's perfect for what it is, man. And yeah, solid 4.5 on that, man.
That's what she said.
We're trying to get to a movie.
You better get going. You don't want to miss 1 second of that movie.
Is it that good?
It's the best goddamn movie I've ever seen in my life.
Oh.
Dude hangs dumb.
I told
I
you!
don't want to miss that.
Well, guys, let's finish up by deciding what these regular dudes are going to watch next time on our next episode of Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. We're all going to give a quick elevator pitch here and then vote on the winner. Can't vote for yourself. And if there's a tie, we spin the magical wheel. Soup, you're up first this time, followed by Mills, and then myself. I guess we're saving the best for last.
Probably, man. Probably. Because you know what, man? I'm up first because I have not won a single pitch yet. Although we're still just fucking ankle deep into the fucking off season regular dudes shit here, man. But hey, man, whatever, dude. All the fucking contestants are awesome always. But anyway, man, I wanted to come up here this week. I wanted to throw a real fucking zinger out there like I think I'm doing every week. But this week I'm throwing I'm throwing that fucking 100-mile-an-hour fastball, man. And I want to talk about a movie that I think will be fun for every fucking buddy to talk about, something based in the early 90s out there in Los Angeles. And it's about a guy named Jeffrey Lebowski. We're going to talk about the dude. I want to talk about the Big Lebowski. Because The Big Lebowski is one of the coolest all-around movies ever fucking made, man. And there's just so much there. So without fucking getting into details and whatnot, man, just knowing that there is a ton to fucking talk about when it comes to the fucking Lebowski and the dude, I'm pitching The Big Lebowski. Fuck it. Let's go bowling.
All right, Mega Mills, it's on you.
You know what? I mean, Lance Reddick recently passed away, and he is one of my absolute favorite character actors. He's been in a ton of things I loved. You have the new John Wick coming out, so I was trying to pitch one of the John Wicks, but you know what? It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. There are 3 John Wick movies. They're all rated 7.4 on IMDb. Like, they're all basically considered good movies. So, I went into his IMDb page. There's great episodes of Corporate, Fringe, Rick and Morty starring Lance Reddick. But I looked at his, future credits, one of which is White Men Can't Jump. And I'm just curious, like, why do we not revisit White Men Can't Jump? This is a classic flick, classic sports movie, just incredibly fun. Woody Harrelson, Wesley Snipes on top of their game. I enjoy it every time I watch it. You kind of pick up new shit and do not sell Rosie Perez short. She's probably the secret MVP of this movie. Jamie G, that brings us to you.
You know what, dude? I'm going to do this because it's something I've wanted to watch for a long time. I cannot believe they made 3 of them, and we could potentially get a trilogy thing going here. But I want to watch the first sequence, The Human Centipede. Okay, it's a horror film. It's an absolute ridiculous concept. It's written, directed, and co-produced by Tom Six, and it's got our boy from Arthur from
Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders, and it's got our guy he was also in Boardwalk Empire. So very cool. Love the actor. He's basically a deranged German surgeon, kidnaps 3 tourists, and then conjoins them surgically, mouth to ass, forming the human centipede. It's a bizarre story. The trailer is like crazy. Again, I can't believe they made a full movie about this and then made 2 sequels to it. I mean, there's 3 of them out there. I've wanted to watch it. I'm probably not going to do it unless it's for something like this. I've heard mixed reviews. I heard it's very scary. I heard it's very messed up. I mean, obviously, I cannot wait to talk about our debate about, like, you definitely want to be the first part of that centipede, right? I mean, middle and end is the worst, right? I mean, you want to be the first, right? I mean, from a
You got to be
feeding
the engine
standpoint.
on that one, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want the end, dude.
You don't want the
I think
caboose.
South Park covered this one pretty clearly, but all right.
Well, but that's South Park, dude. Not everybody. This is regular dudes watch stuff, and we'll have a different spin on it. South Park's covered everything. I mean, come on, dude. We could say the Simpsons and South Park have covered everything. They've got a billion episodes of everything. But I would like to do it. I didn't shit on either of your guys' pitch, saying another group already did it. So I appreciate an honest vote here. Thank you.
No, fair enough. South Park definitely did. White Men Can't Jump. I don't know if they ever did The Big Lebowski, though, but The Simpsons is The Big Lebowski. So you're right. It's a pretty fair mix there. And I will recap our options here. Sue picked The Big Lebowski, Coen Brothers classic. I pitched White Men Can't Jump. Remake is forthcoming, starring Lance Reddick, who recently left this planet. And Jamie G pitched The Human Centipede, where he wants to be the front guy in the Centipede. And what we do is we vote in the reverse of the order in which we nominated. If it's a tie, we spin the wheel. So Jamie G, White Man Can't Jump, or The Big Lebowski?
It's been a while since I've watched either one. There were rumors for a long time about a Big Lebowski 2, and I thought that got greenlit and was going to happen, but I don't know that it ever did. It's been a long time. I'm going to go Big Lebowski. It's fun. It's never a bad time. I'm going Lebowski.
Fucking Lebowski.
It's over the line, dude. It's over the line.
The fucking dude.
Yeah. Again, I do not want to shit on your pick, but pitching, like, Soup went to like the well, like he went to like the double banger, and you came back with Human Centipede.
I had a banger that I was going to go. I'm going to save it for next week, but it's fine.
That's what she said.
I honestly saw the
subscribe to my OnlyFans for another week, and then I'll let you know.
Dude, I saw the trailer to the Human Centipede, and it actually looked really good. Like it looked like a scary. I haven't watched it, so I thought it would be a cool opportunity. I like the idea of a psychopathic German surgeon.
I like that you're pitching a movie you haven't seen. I think that's kind of ballsy.
All right, cool. Well, Soup, you still have to pick White Man Can't Jump or Human Centipede. So go ahead.
I thought you were next. Wait, I thought I went last, man.
Yeah, you go. It's on you. You already won, but you have to give your vote that doesn't matter.
Oh, all right. Well, White Man Can't Jump. Fuck you. I can jump. I can jump pretty high. I could dunk a basketball when I was in 10th grade. So I got to vote for the Centipede.
He's voting for the Centipede. All right. Well, at least I got one vote, man. At least I got one vote.
I love y'all because I was able to write your votes in before you even voted. So it's good to, have familiarity. Fuck it, we're doing the Big Lebowski, dude. There's nothing bad about that. That should be incredibly fun and, bring your own toe. I would like to see people dressed up as various Lebowski characters. I don't know who wants to do the Jesus, or, whatever. Just
you don't fuck with the Jesus, man. I can't wait.
You lick a bowling ball, you win, dude. You gotta lick a bowling ball to win.
Dude, I'm looking forward to rewatching this one again too, man. It's been a minute.
It's been a good decade for me, so I'm pumped about this.
Dude, you gotta, man, shit.
I'm pumped about it. Look, regular dudes, we abide. Thank you for checking out Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. We really appreciate you checking us out. Please remember to like and subscribe, all that stuff. It matters. And if you got a movie or show that you'd like us to talk about, hit us up, man. Let us know on social media or in the comments of the YouTube video or podcast, and we will gladly check it and we'll review it. Yeah, we love it. Mills, remind everybody where they can find Regular Dudes Watch Stuff.
Very clear you were. Like, that's a Yoda thing that you say before you say, you best check yourself before you wreck yourself. And you can just check us at JoeBlowFootballShow.com. Search for Regular Dudes Watch Stuff on the YouTubes, at Dudes Watch Stuff on the social medias, wherever your pods at Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. And this was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it very much. And, looking forward to some more nonsense next time.
Absolutely. Thanks again for checking out Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. We'll be back next week to cover The Big Lebowski.
This thing reads like stereo instructions. Oh, sounds like that you got an A in the math test.
He likes it.
Shake, 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 Sinora, shake your body liner. Shake, 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 Sinora, shake it all the time. Whoa,